So here we are. Welcome to Autogefühl with a brand new Skoda Karoq. Does it look a little bit familiar to you? It does to me, and that's no mistake. It's the brand new Kodiaq smaller brother, which for me is slightly sad news because it does mean the death of the Yeti.
So you see, we have a special dual moderation or dual reporting episode today with Brian and with Thomas on Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars. We will combine German and British humor and of course give all the information you need to know about this very new compact SUV, I would say.
Should we go take a look?
Let's go, yeah.
So I mentioned before that there's an awful lot of Kodiaq in the Karoq, and that obviously is no mistake. Part of the reason that Skoda decided to move on from the Yeti, although it was incredibly successful, is they wanted to make sure that their crystalline design language worked right throughout their entire offering. And you can see that here. From the front, if you weren't paying attention, it could easily be the Kodiaq. I think it works really nicely. You have a very clean, straight design. It looks nice and solid the way that an SUV should without being too overly dominating. Thomas, tell us a little bit about what you think.
For me, 38 or 14'4" is the length of the Skoda Karoq. The name is actually deriving from a tribe in Alaska, so the rock also means arrow, as we also find in the Skoda logo. The length is, it's pretty similar than the Seat Ateca, and also both cars are basically similar from this MQB building platform in the Volkswagen AG. There's the MQB A0 for the small ones, Seat Arona, the very small Skoda SUV following later, Seat Ibiza, new VW Polo. The MQB A1 is for the Seat Ateca and here for the Skoda Karoq, and the MQB A2 is for the Volkswagen Tiguan, for a later bigger Seat SUV and also for the Skoda Kodiaq. So we have everything sorted out now. Here, by the way, I think it's really nice that the wheels are very bright in their style, 19-inch, so the biggest ones you can get. Pretty massive style, and they really correspond to the width of the car. We see here in the trapeze style those wheel arches, so not really round, have this off-road style. Then side profile is dominated by this design line playing with light and shadow above the door handles. Really resembles the Ateca a lot. Maybe the Ateca is a little bit sportier. Oh, there's Brian coming. What do you think?
Yeah, that's all great. Those are some nice facts. But let's talk about the styling. I think one of the things that's hardest when you're working with a smaller platform like this is how do you still get across the emphasis of an SUV in a compact form? We've seen this with a lot of other cars, and it can lose a little in the translation. I like the way that the lines of the car give it some substance without making you think, it's a little bit too much. The lines of the window come back really smoothly, and it looks elegant, but still has a position on the road. The black trim is nice. It suggests to me that I could take it a little bit more of an adventurous place than just the road, whilst at the same time not making it look too much like a piece of farm equipment. What do you think, Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will work pretty well on all markets. I mean, it's a rather conservative layout in the side profile, I would say, not screaming out too much, but I think therefore it will also work with different target groups, I think. What would you think?
Do you think it's, where do you think it's pegged? Is it sportier than the competition? Is it roomier? Is it going to be more price competitive? Where do you see this fitting within its sector?
Well, I mean, Skoda is usually about a very good price performance, so I think this one will also be the main purpose of this vehicle, and so I expect also maybe to be a little bit cheaper than the internal competition from the sister brands. And I think from the sporty look, maybe the Seat is a little bit sportier, but I mean, you see already those hard edges. This is more an angular style, so if you prefer that.
Now, obviously, past the frustration of attending the premieres is that we only get to look at and don't get to drive the cars. I would really like to know, obviously, Thomas, you have such an extraordinary experience of driving so many different cars. What would you particularly hope that this car will deliver for Skoda?
Well, I think, the Kodiaq was already good in driving, but it's actually pretty huge, and some don't need that space. And then you can get also from Skoda a compact SUV, which is the most surging segment at the moment, worldwide in passion. And I think this is also of a sportier ride than you have with the Kodiaq, and also a better price. I think that's the key. And I would say we'll let Brian take a look at the rear now. What do you think?
So, earlier viewers may remember I have a little bit of a thing for the back of cars, and I think Thomas and I might be having a bit of a disagreement here. If you look at the back of this car, to me it looks a little flat. Sorry, Skoda. I can see here what they've tried with the lights as they carve straight in, and they definitely do add a little detail to the feature. But for me, it's just a bit too flat. The rounded edges are really smooth, and sculpturally it looks nice, but is it too unfair to say that I'm thinking a little bit of a fridge while I look at it? What do you think, Thomas?
Well, actually, I do like it, and I especially like the LED light, and they have, again, this philosophy of the Czech handcraft from the glasswork inside, very sculptural, and I think that really adds to the sharp design of the car.
Okay, Thomas, so maybe you had a bit of a point about the back. Possibly I was being a bit too harsh on it, but I tell you what, I am more than a bit excited to see the interior of this car. Look at this, cloth seats. Now, of course, the base models are going to come with that automatically. We like that. There will be many different options available. Interior is looking nice. You've got, again, the clean lines that you recognize from the outside. Let's see how it is for comfort. Oh! Well, as is always the case at any vehicle launch, there's about 1 million people here who also want to sit in the car and have a look at it. So I won't be staying in here too long, but I'm going to stay in here for long enough to tell you that the seats are nice. Driving position's good, the layout of the controls is all simple, and we have a really nice look at the infotainment system. I think we should take a bit of a closer look at that. Let's have a check out. Now let's take a look at the display. This is Skoda's first fully digital display, and they've decided to feature it on the Karoq. As you would expect, it comes with lots of different features. This one is already set to display mode, so we can already start to get a feel for what it does. You can scroll between different modes, which obviously gives you lots of information of all of the car's various features. Let's have a look and see if we can take it back to the display. There we go. So this is the one you'd be most likely to want to use while you're driving. And if you cycle between the different types of view that are available, you can see what some of the options look like. We particularly like so far these bars on either side. They really give you the information you want without cluttering up your display. And if you want a full screen of map, you can have it. Obviously very handy for navigating. The infotainment system is multi-touch, and it comes in either 8 or 9.2 inches. Obviously, we have the slightly larger one here. The big push at this event is for the Skoda Connect Me app. They're really enthusiastic that you should understand how your smartphone can integrate in with the system. So if you have a look, you can see we have a fully loaded Skoda Connect system here. They were very keen to explain to us that you do have the option for using your car as a Wi-Fi hotspot. There is an SD card slot that will allow you to put in a phone contract, whatever your choice is, that will allow your car essentially to act as a mobile phone. But failing that, obviously not many people have that kind of cash, you can of course connect it to your phone's Wi-Fi, and that will allow you access to all of their Connect Me features. You can see some of them displayed here, or possibly all of them displayed here. They're very keen to point out that this is a living thing that's still in progress, so they plan on adding more as they go. Let's take a slightly closer look at the cockpit design. Well, right from up top, everything's very clean. We've got one large central speaker here, and that really flows straight into the molding below. Got a nice svelte finish on the infotainment display. This is the larger of the two screens available, 9.2 inches. As you can see, it's sensitive to your positioning of your hand slightly in its general area. I was hoping I could make it do it again, but I can't. Slightly further down below the air vents, we have seat heating options. Then we have climate controls, dual climate control for both passenger and driver. Heating controls, and then down bottom, auto start stop, parking controls, parking radar, hazard warnings, lock unlock the car, and of course passenger airbag on or off. Slightly lower down, we have a storage area here. This is for mobile phones, and we have an inductive charge point. We've got a nice, fairly unobtrusive, but very comfortable to use gear lever. This obviously is the automatic. And slightly further back, mode selection button, an off-road button, traction control off if you're feeling like having some fun, electronic parking brake, and a big button with A-on.
Well, Brian, it's always good to have a Thomas around, because he can then tell you that the A button is to activate or deactivate the automatic parking brake. And then let's take a look at the armrest here. It's pretty fixedly attached as we were expecting it, and wide opening here, a lot of room. There's this unit inside. Wow. Well, it's not exactly in the VW Atlas for an iPad size. And then this one here, you can, for example, put in to have split beverage holders. However, I would have preferred adaptive beverage holders, you know, with those that they fold away a little bit, that they would adapt to different beverage sizes. And storage spaces, also, for example, here with the glove box, it's a pretty standard size, I would say. And then also at the inside of the doors, it fits for big bottles. And one of those nice Skoda ideas is a separate trash bin you can mount there. So now I will also get inside, because, you know, I'm taller than Brian. Yes. 1-0 for Thomas. And that, of course, leaves the very important question, is this car also suitable for tall people? And I'll move the seat as far down as it is possible now. And, you know, I'm 1m86 or 6'1", and that leaves me plenty of headroom, although this vehicle here is already featuring a panoramic roof. You will have more headroom even without a panoramic roof. But again, if I think about, you know, having, for example, a Kodiaq or this one, you won't miss too much space actually here in the front position. I think that's quite good. And actually, the seating position is upright, as you know from an SUV. You can also electrically control it here. The standard feature will, of course, begin with a normal manual seat. But I find those seats really attractive also because in this grey style, I think they feature a little bit Scandinavian design. And maybe they are also presenting this, you know, this vehicle here today in Stockholm. Quality-wise, by the way, build quality-wise, you see all of the top of the dashboard here is soft touch. Even the lower part here, this one here, only the very low part, that is in hard plastic. But overall, we see a very solid build quality and a clean, rather conservative interior, which is then enriched by those digital elements we have shown you. So then I will directly get in the rear, because I had the position as a driver in front, and you see here, the knee room is actually quite okay, because we had vehicles that are about 30 centimeters longer and have the same amount of knee room. Here it's a little bit blocked by this folding table. Then you can see the real knee room. You do not have to get the folding table. I think it's a pretty good result. The rear bench here, let's see, there's no sliding function, so it's the same than in the Seat Ateca. This is a difference to the VW Tiguan. The Tiguan can have this sliding bench here. This one here, at least this vehicle here we have, does not feature it. The table, by the way, is, you know, a little wobbly, I would say, but it has been improved from, you know, very old tables. Oh, by the way, I want to show you, you can also get out here the cup holders for the children. Brian actually has children, so maybe I'll ask him what he thinks about if his children will get in this very rear of the car. And let's see the rear bench here. We have adjustment positions. Doesn't seem like it, at least not here. This is to flipped seats. There's also no strap right here, so you'll be left with this angle. However, the seating angle here is very comfortable, and also headroom-wise, good result for tall people still. With panoramic roof, goes all the way through. Again, you will have more headroom if you leave out this option.
Has children or is still a child? Difficult to say. Well, we've got a really nice detail on the panoramic roof here. The shade has been pulled over. Back to these trays again. I think, as any parent would tell you, things that can be snapped off easily in a car are never a good idea where children are concerned. So it's a nice idea in principle, but I can tell you that's not going to last more than 2 minutes with most kids. But that's fine. As Thomas already said, these tray tables have come on a long way. They used to be even more flimsy, so it's not bad. But for me, not really a good option for kids. Sorry, Skoda. Looking around the rest of the back, I would say that you do have the same sort of conservative feeling back here that you get from the front. I like that. It's not for everybody. You wouldn't describe the back of the car as a fun place to be, but it certainly is comfortable. And if you're sensibly proportioned instead of gigantic like Thomas, you can see that you have more than enough legroom. So, of course, there's no point buying an SUV unless it's got enough room for you to keep your things in the back. And there we go. I think Skoda have actually done a really nice job with this. This is a class-leading 520 litres of space. And if you put the seats down and max out all the room that's available to you, you can get up to 1,631 litres of load in the back. That's actually really good. If you check that out against the competition, you'll find it's considerably more than other options that are available. And it doesn't stop there. There are also some nice other features back here. Obviously, you know, with Skoda, everything's always simply clever. So we've got some nice luggage hooks here, good storage compartments. And I'm going to let Thomas tell you all about the VeriFlex system. And then he seems to think that it's fun to find out if the car's childproof by sticking his hand in the way of the boot. Not sure if that's a good plan. Let's find out.
So I'm a fan of a child safety test and controlling the torque. I think that worked out quite well. Maybe they've seen it on, you know, when we criticized it with the Tiguan, and they said, hey, we'll maybe put a little bit less torque. Or it's maybe the angle of the hatch, but here it seems to work quite well. About towing, by the way, we have here the towing hook you can put in optionally, and the maximum towing capacity is 2 tons for it. About this VeriFlex system, which can even increase luggage space, it's not fitted with this vehicle, but we'll stroll around a little bit longer here for you at the world premiere. Maybe one of the other vehicles is equipped with that new system. So about this new seat system, you see a lot of people are experimenting with it. You can see it right here there now. There it is. Inside there, you see one seat's already removed there. So you can fold the seat like this. You can also here then control the angle of the seat. So that's really interesting. It's an optional feature here. You can control the angles, for example, to increase the luggage space. And let's see. There you lift up the seat then on those red hinges. And then you slide them out or lift them out.
So we've now been joined by Carl Neuholt, who's the head of exterior design for Skoda, and he has promised to show us how expertly simple the interior is. So Carl, I understand you've enlisted some help with this demonstration. Who do we have joining us?
Yeah, I have here my colleague, Mr. Norbert Weber, head of interior design. Welcome. Yeah.
Interior design.
Yes.
You're the man who's going to show us how these seats work.
Yes.
So Carl's actually cheating a little bit, I think. He brought the real expert. I'm very excited to see how the new system works. So are you going to demonstrate for us so we can all get a look?
We can mix it together. First you have to open the trunk, yes.
You explain, I do.
Then we put down the rollo, and then we put out the rollo.
Here we go, I'll hold on to that.
Thank you very much.
Then we have to go around.
Inside. We open the door.
Open the door is a must.
Sorry. So then
And then you go into the zip and you fold it down.
I do the next.
Yes, wait a moment. The next zip, you go down, and I have to go to the other side, and you can zip.
I'll stay this side and I'll meet you across. Go round.
I do this. I continue with this side. I put here the side up, and I take the 15 kilogram of seat here out.
Okay, now that did look easy, I have to say.
It's perfect, easy. You can open it. You have a big space. You have enough space for your bicycles and everything what you want, and what you need, and what you want to transport in this car.
So would you be so good as to show us again? If you could just take the seat out, that would be great.
This upright, go with it here. With the zip, you make very fast, and it's going down, and you have a perfect space in your car.
Great, and to take the seat out?
You have to go here, and you fold it down. Wait. Here. You have to go out, and then you can fold it out like Mr. Neuhold is doing, and then you can bring it out and put it to your garage, and then you have really enough space.
Perfect. That looks like more than enough room for my children to store all of their toys. Thank you very much for your assistance. I'm afraid to say it is. Thank you very much for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now they're just showing off, aren't they, really?
So now I want to show you two things here. Actually, live on tape, Autogefühl. Welcome. First of all, this is a different trim level on the inside, a higher trim level. There you can find microfiber on the inside and leatherette on the outside. Optimum solution also to have another sustainable trim. It looks really high class and no animal is slaughtered for that. So good, sustainable and high class. And let's see if it's also comfortable also here in the rear. And it actually is. And what is also interesting here with this folding flex system, here you can also slide the bench. So I can slide forward. Well, the front seat is at the moment pretty much forward. But here the good thing is that, like in the Tiguan, you can fold the bench forward and backward again. I can show you that again when I get out, like this here. You see the difference here. It's like this. You can, about 13 centimeters or something, you can slide it back or forward to get more boot space or to get more leg room then. And also here the straps that have been used, take the seat out, and you can also control them to then increase the leaning angle of the seats here or maybe fold them back again. And so you can adjust your more, relaxing or more upright seating position. I think that's a key advantage too. And that's the way the seat looks in the front, with a more shoulder support on the upper part, and you see you can be held tighter here in this sportier seat trim. Engines, well, this vehicle will also share the other engines we've seen from the siblings, from the Seat Ateco or Volkswagen Tiguan. We have the 1.6 liter TDI or the 2 liter TDI, and petrol engines, the 3-cylinder 1 liter with 115 horsepower, or the new 1.5 liter Evo engine, the 4-cylinder petrol engine. So you have a wide variety, of entry price to higher, and of course the bigger engines then will automatically be combined with all-wheel drive and also the dual clutch transmission, the DSG. The lower entry ones start with front-wheel drive and also just with manual hand drive. You can pick that, and the other ones then optionally. And of course the all-wheel drive here with the Haldex system, AJ is always explaining very well. So it's then front plus rear on demand, maximum 50-50 if needed.
One of my favorite details of coming to new car launches is listening to the new and very inventive names that the manufacturers come up with the color lines for their new cars. So I'm happy to tell you, we've already seen Moon White and Steel Grey in the color scheme. This, go on, I tell you what, we should offer some sort of prize if you can tell me what this is called. This is Magnetic Brown. Yes, but we're not finished there. If we come over to the last car on the stand, we have Lava Blue. I'm not quite sure how you get blue from lava, but I like it. It's a nice color. I think I'm increasingly feeling bad about that.
Why it's lava blue. I've explained it in one of the earlier reviews.
Of course you have, Thomas. Please enlighten me.
Brian, didn't you watch Autogefühl properly? Come on, seriously?
Okay, I'm sorry. Please help me.
Yeah, there is a place, I'm not sure where it was, but there's a place where the lava comes out blue because of a certain temperature it has. One of our viewers has enlightened us. So there is blue lava on this world, indeed.
Well, I have been truly humbled this evening. I apologize for my ignorance. Lava blue. Well, I didn't know that, so I've learned something this evening. I think the brown is nice. The metallic finish on it looks really good. The grey for me is a little flat. And the white, as I said, is a little bit fridge-like for my taste. So I like a little bit more colour and depth, I think, for this car, especially because it is a car that needs to make a statement on the road, given its class. So I like the blue and the brown. That's me personally. Thomas, what do you like?
Yeah, indeed. My favorite is definitely the lava blue. It's almost Thomas blue, I would say. I really love it, so I would take it that way. And I'm really struggling to pick between those Scandinavian grey fabric seats and also the Alcantara leather red mix. I think both refreshing. Finally, we see a world premiere where the manufacturer not saying, we put it all with animal skin, the highest spec and so on. So finally, at the world premiere, we also see mid-spec, whole cars and also with of sustainable functions. I think it's really refreshing what they are doing. And overall, I think exterior-wise, coming to our summary, what do you think about the exterior?
Well, I have to say I'm still more than a little disappointed to know that the arrival of this car marks the death of the Yeti. I think that's a fantastic car. All things have to end eventually, but it has a lot to live up to. Certainly from what we've seen this evening, I think that this is a very promising start. Obviously, the truth is in the testing, so hopefully we'll have the chance to give this a drive and see if it lives up to our expectations. The styling is nice. I wouldn't say that it's overdone in any respect, but maybe it could have been a little bit more risky in terms of what it delivers. For me, it doesn't really give you much more than the Kodiaq does. Now, saying that, I like the Kodiaq design a lot, so obviously I like the Karoq as well. I would have liked it to be a little bit more unique, but that's just for me. For you?
Yeah, indeed, it's somewhat conservative, the layout, but I think it's, they found very clean lines, and I liked it when, they really know their design language and just carry on with it through. It also accounts for the interior. It's not interior where I say, oh, I'm so emotionally touched, but then again, it is very clean, has a very solid build quality, and I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. And I'm very certain it will be a big sales success. Of course, we'll testify that when we will drive the car, if that also counts for the driving experience. Of course, we want to hear your feedback. What do you think about exterior and interior and the styles we presented to you? And how did you like our dual reporting here?
Well, thank you ever so much, Thomas. It's been so much fun to join you, and hopefully we'll have the opportunities to do this a little bit more in future. As Thomas says, if you have any questions, please let us know. Please subscribe. That's it from me.
Thank you so much. Tune in next time.